Yo tout le monde, c'est Thibaut. Wait, actually no. Today I will make a video in English. Why? Because I speak French every day and I'm tired of it. I can't speak French always. It's getting really hard to keep talking in French. I can't handle this. Anyway, today we will make a video in English. Why? Because I see on my channel there's a lot of English speaking persons that comments on my channel, but my videos are in French, so I don't know why you are here, if that makes any sense. You don't understand what I'm saying in all of my videos except this one. So that's why I wanted to do a little something for you, because you are there. I see your comments every time and I don't get it. So I will give you something worth commenting to if you are English. And today for my 1400 subscribers will give you English viewers a little something French viewers will not get before September. And this is the first impression of the Harman Kardon Onyx Studio 7. Are you ready? Ready or not? Let's get started. Hey everyone, it's Thibaut. That hits different in English, doesn't it? Anyway, today I am here to talk about the Onyx Studio 7. This is a great speaker, but it's not as great as something like the Motion Boom for a reason I will mention in today's video. So, before I start, I will tell you something. We are in a very small room, as you see. It's a Motion Boom, say hi. She doesn't say anything. Anyway, so it's a small room, so the bass can and will probably appear muddy, a bit too overdone, a bit too mid-bass heavy, but I thought to myself that would be interesting, and I don't really have a choice anyway because my mother is downstairs and I don't want to bother her. So I'm forced to do this video here. But by telling you right in the eyes that this room will not represent the Studio 7 bass at its best potential, I think we are in the clear. Now we can continue. So here it is, the Onyx Studio 7. It's a big speaker, but it's not that big for the bass it produces. If I bring the Motion Boom, you'll see. Motion Boom is actually larger than the Onyx 7, but the Onyx 7 is taller. So the Onyx 7 is not that big. That's why I wanted to say. So you see here is a steel band that is quite reminiscent of the first Onyx, not Onyx Studio, the first Onyx, the Harman Kardon Onyx, which was quite high-end. It had leather on the back, it had Wi-Fi, it had a bigger battery than any of the studio speakers, this one included. So it was quite a high-end speaker, but the Onyx Studio that came out right after had pretty much the same sound, but the 2 feet in the back, which was a bit cheap, a bit flimsy, but it was the same sound. So Studio continued to be somewhat cheap, somewhat not really a premium, but starting at the Onyx Studio 5, we started to got something a little bit more high-end, maybe, with nice mesh. As you see, it's still there on the 7. Nice mesh, nice steel handle, which is still here, but it's now a weird design. Really, it's quite weird. I don't get it, because as you see, there's a little something to just prevent the speaker to fall, because the feet are quite weird. There's not a lot of padding, so it's not the greatest. It looks good. It looks good, but practicality, not great. So we have mesh on the front and on the back. It's literally everywhere. And it looks good. I like the design visually, but on a practical level, it's not that great. So we have buttons, of course. It's the black speaker, so it's quite hard to see. I will try to focus. It doesn't want to focus. It does. Okay, Bluetooth, volume down, power, volume plus, and play pause. So it's the basic, really. There's nothing special. There's no bass up. There's no TWS in English. That's correct. I don't know. It's really basic. I think there's no LFM on this. But even if LFM was here, I would not use it because I care about my speakers. So I don't want to break them. And it go pretty loud already. I think it's louder than the motion boom with my custom EQ, let me be clear, because my EQ is softer than something like Alan's Ross, n'est-ce pas? Ooh, I speak French, excuse me. It's softer, so it doesn't push the volume as much, but when you plug in the Onyx Studio 7, it is definitely louder than my motion boom, and it's really, really loud. I don't go past 50% because it destroys my ears. Really, it's powerful. Powerful. Power! Unlimited power! You see what I mean. So, it's 50 watt rated RMS, but only when plugged in. It is plugged in right now. Now you see the wire that go down to the... Yeah. But when you unplug it, it is 30 watt. 30 watt, that's not a lot. That's the same as the motion boom. That's the same as Extreme 3 on battery. It is enough. When I checked some videos about the what is the name of the speaker? Go Plus Play wireless, the first Go Plus Play, not the second model, the first. When you unplug the speaker, you simply lose bass, which is dumb because you want the same sound on the go and plugged in. But no, the Go and Play wireless lose bass when you unplug it. For the Onyx Studio 7, this is not the case. You will retain full bass while unplugged, but what you will get for plugging it in is louder, of course. It would be simply louder. So, we have the Harman Kardon logo. Let me tell you something. I don't get how JBL and Harman Kardon work in France. I don't get it. Harman Kardon is supposed to be the high-end branch of JBL, if that makes sense. Except he's not. It's. You will never believe how much I paid to get the Onyx Studio 7. I know it's $500 in the US, but in France, where I live, I got it for 180 euros. That's $212. And keep in mind that sale tax is fully included in the retail price in France. So I got it really for 180 euros. Not a single penny more. And guess what? It's the same fucking price as the JBL Charge 5, which cost in France 180 euros. I don't get it. You have the same power as the JBL Extreme 3. You have the same bass and moderate listening volumes. as the JBL Boombox 2 or maybe even slightly better, but it costs the same price as a JBL Charge 5, which sounds like a damn toy compared to the Onyx Studio 7. I don't get it. And the Extreme 3 is sold at 300 euros, 120 more. I don't get it. In French, is Harman Kardon the cheaper brand compared to JBL? I don't get it. That makes literally no sense at all. It's weird because 500 for this, I will not pay $500 for this, but $200, not bad. Good value. But it's absolutely good value. I got it for cheap. I will never in my life buy a Charge 5 instead of this. This makes no sense. I don't get it. So it's cheap, it's great, 50 watts, 30 watts on the go, but there's a catch. The catch is the battery, of course. It's small, it's 11.7 watt hours. It's small. It will not last for long. If you use it at max volume, it will probably not go beyond 1 hour 30, maybe 2 hours if your music don't have a lot of bass, but it's really a bad battery. I don't get Harman Kardon either because the tuning of the speaker is clearly made for outdoors listening scenario. It's clearly made for outdoors, but yet they put inside a small battery in single cell. That makes no sense because you want outside to have a big boost bass because bass get lost if there is no room reflection. But if you do outdoor tuning, give your speaker big batteries, or else reduce the boosted bass and give it a small battery, because indoors, even in large rooms, it can sound a bit too much. Outdoors it sounds really good, really meaty, really full-bodied bass, but inside I don't get how Harman is doing things. I don't understand. So bass is awesome. It's outstanding. It's wow. It's really powerful, but it goes down to 35 hertz on most songs. Apparently, it can go down to 30 hertz, but I never quite managed to reach 30 hertz. But I believe Alan. He probably don't say that for no reason. He's probably right. But in my testing, I did not see anything below 35 hertz. But it's really deep, it's really powerful, it's really controlled. It's maybe not the fastest bass. It's a bit slow, but it got better with the break-in period. But it's not as fast as the Motion Boom, which was pretty slow when I got it, but got better with the breaking. Là, excuse me, I'm still trying to speak French. Here, I don't know, it's still a bit slow, but it's very controlled, which is not the case of the Motion Boom. At higher volumes, the bass is not that well controlled. The absolute sweet spot for Motion Boom for its bass, it's between 50 and 55% with my custom EQ, because it's really controlled. It's quite fast, it's quite good, but past 60% up to 80. After 80, it limits its bass. Motion Boom, maybe it's a bit overwhelmed with all the bass it produces. Maybe just a bit. It doesn't make the speaker sound bad or anything, but here I can safely go to 60%, 70% without the bass becoming uncontrolled. It's really a good bass, just not the face test. Okay. Mids are a bit underwhelming, maybe. Just a bit. Depending on the tracks, it can be a little bit V-shaped. The mids are maybe a little bit recessed. I'm not quite a big fan of V-shaped sounds. It doesn't suit my taste. I like flat sounding speakers. That's why I made my motion boom EQ the way it is. Here on most tracks, it's good. It's mids are quite flat, quite good, but on selected tracks, can be a bit recessed. It can be a bit V-shaped, and I don't like that. Highs are pretty good. I think there's kind of a drop between 8 to 10 kilohertz, so it's not perfect, but it's quite good. The highs are good, or quite flat. And they are recessed, obviously, because the bass is overboosted. So mids and highs are always they are always recessed, no matter what. Except if you listen to tracks with no bass at all, then it will sound quite balanced. Excuse me. It will sound quite balanced. Probably a bit V-shaped, but not a lot, and there's boost between 1 to 3 kilohertz that boost voice clarity, so it's not that bad, but it can lack a bit of resolution overall in mids and highs, a bit of shimmer maybe. We have two tweeters, so that's pretty good. Left and right, they act like stereo, which is quite good. When I do stereo testing, I noticed there is one driver, but the fact that there is two tweeters, it gives somewhat stereo illusion. It is stereo, the tweeter of stereo, but since the woofer is still mono, give a it's not really as stereo as a stereo speaker, but it's quite good, and you'd hear that everywhere that highs with mono don't mix well. It makes highs a bit maybe trapped, a bit weird sounding, phasing issue. Here we have two tweeters, so highs sounds good. Thank God. That's why I bought this, because the highs should sound better than on the Studio 5 and 6. So now it's time, but just before we go, I will show you a little something. Here, you don't see anything. It has an aux input. Hallelujah! That's wonderful, because a motion boom don't have it, and if I want to use my motion boom with my TV, I have to use Bluetooth, and let me tell you, Bluetooth on my TV have a serious latency issue. I can't bear with it. It's awful. So when I use this with my TV wired, there's no delay, so it feels good. It feels just like it was the speaker on the TV. No, it works well. We have a bar charger. I will unplug it for you. Up. It's not proprietary, but it's not USB-C. There's USB Type-C, but it's not used for charging. It's used for service. That's what is written on it. I don't get what service is, but it's only for service. Oh la la. Please don't fall. Oh God, I Headlight Design for practicality issue. Will it stay in place? Yes. So you see here is the light that indicates charging. It's simply red when it charges, and it goes off when it's charged. The light is white when you boot the speaker. It's flash when it's trying to connect via Bluetooth, and it's simply white when it is connected another thing, when you plug in the aux cable, it still search for Bluetooth device, which I found quite weird. So there's the flashing light, white light in always, it never turns off, and it search for Bluetooth. The speaker is not that smart. If I would to plug aux in, I would like Bluetooth to not activate. No, I'm the only one who think something like this. Anyway, so I think I tell everything. There's two tweeters. There's one woofer. Tweeters I think are 25 millimeters. The woofer is 120 millimeters. It's big. It's really big. And let me tell you a little something about science. That's interesting. If you take a 60 millimeter woofer, like on the motion boom, and you double the size of the woofer, the area of the speaker is quadruple 4 times. I don't know how to say it in English. 4 times. It's 4 times greater. It's 4 times bigger. It's 4 times better. So there is only one woofer, but it is 4 times. It gives 4 times more area than one single woofer on the motion boom. Since there are two, we still have 2 times more area for the driver compared to the whole motion boom, the two drivers. So that's really interesting, and that's probably why it has such a massive bass. So now I think I told everything. Let me think. It's Bluetooth 4.2. It's SBC, Harman Kardon, high-end brand SBC, of course. Yeah, I think that's it. So I will prepare. I will grab my frequency. I don't know how to say it. My frequency. Wait a second. I found the damn word. Recorder. I've completely forgot it. Anyway, my frequency recorder, and we will try some tracks. Are you ready? Let's do it. So here's my phone. Here's the speaker. I will turn it on. You will hear the welcome tones. They are quite loud and you cannot turn them off. So it's not that great, but I generally don't care about those tones because I don't know, I don't care. If I turn the speaker on, there's a good chance then that I would play music right after, and the music will always be louder than the tones, so I don't care. So it is connected. You see it's red right now because it's charging, but it will soon go white because it's already fully charged. So there's that. But I will choose 3 songs. I will grab, like I said, my frequency recorder, and we will make something great out of it. You see it's white, it's fully charged. So are you ready? Let's do it. As you guessed, I'm plugged in right now. So all the tests will be done plugged in, except the last song. I will try to make both, which means unplugged and plugged. Come. You will see what all of this plugged unplugged situation really means. Everything is ready. Excuse me. Let us start the first song. that's enough. So as you see, because of the acoustics, the speaker is very mid-bass heavy, but it's not that bad. I mean, it's pretty flat. And what you will notice is like I said, the bass is overboosted, which means mids and highs. Why? They are pretty flat in that song, to be honest. They're all good. But you'll see that 50 Hz, even though it's quite recessed compared to the rest, is still massively beyond what anything comes after on the chart. So it's not that bad. 40 Hz, we are at minus 41. It's quite good. For such acoustic, motion boom always was between minus 60, something like that, at 40 Hz. So be at minus 41. It's really good for bad acoustics. So it's really way more powerful at 40 Hz than motion boom. That's for sure. 50 Hz, we are at minus 32. Pretty good. Everything past 53 Hz up to almost 100 Hz is beyond the minus 25 mark, so it's very, very strong. Upper bass is quite pushed compared to the mids. It's not the same as my motion boom. The upper bass is generally under the mids, but here it's all about the bass anyway. So of course the upper bass is above the mids. Why would it not be beyond? Of course it is. So, but it's not boosted. It leaves the place for the deeper bass to exist. So it's a really balanced sounding upper bass. It does not do too much. The Motion Plus did maybe a bit too much with my custom EQ and upper bass, but here it's quite good. Mids are quite flat. They're not V-shaped here. It's quite pretty flat sounding. It goes down, 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 down. It's good. But you'll see at 3 kHz, a bit before 3 kHz, we have that peak I mentioned before. It is boosted. It is boosted for clarity of voices, which is maybe not the most true to the tracks, but since mids and highs are recessed overall, I think like some peaks could definitely help with clarity. And just like I said, it's 8 kHz. We have a dip that lasts until 10 kHz. So not the greatest. It actually starts somewhere between 7 kHz. It has a hole, but it's not that hearable anyway, because like I said, everything is recessed. You only hear the bass. It's the thing you hear the most. The rest is quite flat, it's quite good, but you don't really care about it, except when it's V-shaped. I'm not pleased with V-shaped sound, but overall it's quite good. So let's go to the second track. Let's do it. I forgot to mention something. All the testing is made at 47% of the volume. It's quite soft sounding, but it's already quite loud to me, especially plugged in, so I will not go any higher than this. Even unplugged, it will still be 47%. So let's prepare for the second song. Let's go.
My mind works backwards for a minute.
that's enough. Like you see here, it's maybe a bit V-shaped. The beginnings of the highs is quite boosted here, maybe a bit too much. It should go down like a slope, you see, but it does not. So it's a little bit upper mids, low highs heavy, but it's not that bad. You see here, it's not a particularly boosted bass sound, so it's quite balanced overall. Maybe always with that drop here, which is which happen a lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the time. So anyway, 40 Hertz, we are at minus 49. Not that great, but acoustic, it's not a good acoustic, so I didn't expect anything going into this. 50 Hertz, we are at minus 31, which is quite good. 60 Hertz, we are at minus 24, which is really good. Upper bass is really flat, really flat. It's really great sounding. It does not overpower anything. It's quite good, it's quite balanced. It's really a good upper bass. I'm really satisfied with the upper bass on the speaker. Mids are quite flat, but there's a lot of drops. You see 1, 2, maybe 3, 4 1000 Hertz. It's not the greatest mid, it's not the most detailed. That's probably why I said it lacks a bit of resolution, because there's drops and then there's this massive boost between 1 and 3 kilohertz, which doesn't sound particularly flat, but maybe it kinda adds the tiny bit of clarity that is missing from the mids, and maybe a bit too much in the highs here. It's a bit too recessed, but it's quite good. But you see, when you have a track without bass, the speaker is not particularly great sounding. It sounds good, it sounds okay, but it's really when that deep bass come that we have really something special. When it doesn't kick in, it's good sounding, nothing more. I prefer the motion boom for tracks with no deep bass. Really, I prefer the motion boom, more flat, more sparkly. It has everything in the right place, no real peaks at 1, 2, 3 kilohertz, no drops at 9 kilohertz. It's flat sounding, really great. Here it's not amazing, it's good, but it's just good. With amazing upper bass and pretty good deeper bass. But keep in mind, once again, we are not in a great acoustic. The acoustic in this room is quite poor, but anyway. So let's go to the third song. I will unplug it first. For the first time I will play it, and then I will plug it in for the second time, and we will compare the two to see if there is actual differences. Are you ready? Let's go. Just to show you that I don't cheat, here is the cable. Okay, let's go. It's now a 30 watt speaker because it is unplugged, and we will test that now. It should be less loud than before. We'll see. So I will take a screenshot of this and then we will compare with the plugged in version. Anyway, we are now plugged in, the same tracks, the same volume. Let's do it.
Find your way into this wonderland. Cross the maze, the dark, the innocent. Chase the faith, the thrill, the heaven sent. I got you wild, upside down. The labyrinth will guide you far away to a place where senses will decay. Your bones and minds will shadow play. I got you wild, upside down.
I will screenshot this now. And then obviously we will compare them. My mother laugh. What a weird laugh! Anyway. Unplugged. Plugged into the wall. Unplugged. Plugged. Unplugged. Plugged. Actually, it seems to have many small differences. That's interesting. The bass is absolutely the same though. There's absolutely no difference at all until 300 Hertz. It's the same. You don't lose bass when you unplugged it, which is really good because a lot of people assume that 30 watts means it will not have a lot of bass. It does have a lot of bass, even if it's 30 watt unplugged. It does have the same massive bass that goes really deep, really strong. It's the same bass, really. It's the same bass. Don't worry about anything like this. So, in the mids, you have some difference unplugged. Mids are a bit softer. You see up, there's a bit of boost here. Even that peak is at 900 Hertz. It's a bit bigger when you are plugged in. A bit more mids in the plugged-in short. It's great because the bass is overboosted. I'll take anything that will push the sound a little bit more. In the highs, you see highs are less pushed. Here they are completely more pushed. Take a look at this peak. And then we gain almost 5 decibels at that specific peak. So it tries to do a little bit more highs. The same can be said at the extreme highs. You see here and here we gain 3 to 4 decibels at that specific peak. So the bass is the same, but you get a little bit more in the mids and highs. But it could also be margin of error territory, maybe. But I don't hear that much difference between the two, to be honest, so I don't think it changed that much. Still sounds good. In both cases, it go down to 40 Hertz. Don't believe the charts too much, because the charts are tied to acoustics. The acoustic is not good, but when I heard that 40 Hertz was here at the red line, it was powerful. I heard it completely fine. When motion boom is at that level in this room, I don't hear it perfectly. So it's just the bass is too over. The recordings capture the mid bass first, but if you listen with your own ears, it sounds quite okay. It sounds quite good. The 40 Hz is very hearable. It's not recessed at all. It's just the acoustic which doesn't make it justice on this. Anyway, so it's quite flat. In the 3 songs I showed you, there's no evidence of V-shaped sound, which is good. It's very good, but it can happen, and it happens, sadly. But like I said, it's not all the time. It's not a V-shaped sound. It's just sometimes some tracks are a bit V-shaped. Not much, a bit V-shaped, which is not great, but it doesn't happen most of the time. It's good. So I would promise you something, because here the frequency recording aren't great. I will make a second video with no talking, just to test the 3 same tracks. I will test them, and I will do it in a larger room, just for you to see what the Onyx Studio 7 can really do. I will not talk in that video. It will just be the frequency analysis. Oh yeah, I think that's it. What I think about it, it's a great speaker as long as there's the bass overall in your tracks, because if there are no bass, it sounds okay, it sounds good, it sounds pretty good, but it's not amazing. When there's no bass on my motion boom, that kinda make the same effect, but less. Motion boom sounds better with tracks that have no bass, because it's simply more flat, no peaks, no anything. But Onyx Studio 7 do a fine job, considering that most JBL speakers are V-shaped. There's not a lot of mids on a lot of JBL speakers. A lot of them, that's why I don't like them that much. Here it's pretty flat, pretty good. Nothing groundbreaking without the bass, but it's good. When the bass kick in, oh wow. Oh, you really get something for your money. When the bass kicking, it's really great, it's really controlled, it's really powerful. But like I said, it's not the fastest bass. I have trouble with this word, fastest bass. But it's great. I recommend it. And past the breaking period, I think it would be even better. So that would be all for that video. Thank you for all the English viewers who watch it. You see, my English is quite, it's not that great, but I do this to train myself to get better, I hope. So there it is. Don't forget to subscribe if you like that video, because it is important to me. And don't forget that I am always willing to explain anything in my French videos in the comments if you ask me to. So don't worry about it. That was Thibaut. Goodbye.